Good afternoon, Westminster Woods on Julington Creek. Chaplain Leslie here, bringing you our Thoughts to Grow On meditation for today, which is Thursday, August the 27th. And so I invite you to center your hearts and minds this afternoon for these next few minutes and join me in this meditation. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. And that is from 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7, and the second half of verse 7. And so it focuses in on this image of the things that the Lord looks at are not what we oftentimes look at. We look at the outward appearance, and God looks at the state of the heart. This week I was reminded about those kinds of things as we're in the midst of our annual fire inspection, and various buildings throughout the campus over the next day or two will be having the fire alarm tested. And so it reminded me of all of those times in our own lives when we go through various inspections of our own. And I remember years ago when I was a kid living in Florida, we did have automobile inspections, and how important that was so that we could get that all-important sticker for the car for the year, and to have some peace of mind in knowing that the vehicle that my mom would drive my sister and I around in to do errands, and that my dad would drive on the weekends, that it would be safe for all of us. We also have other inspections in our lives, like a house perhaps, where we have an inspector, a professional, come out and inspect the home before we purchase it, to make sure that there's no unexpected surprises later down the line that might give a soaking to our pocketbooks or our wallets. Nothing unexpected before we purchase the home. Or there's other kinds of inspections, we might call them testing/inspections, when we have things like x-rays and labs and MRIs and PET scans before we have a surgery that is scheduled, to make sure that we're as well as we can possibly be prior to a surgery, again, so that there's no surprises with the inspections of those tests that we have done. When the Lord instructed the prophet Samuel to go and see Jesse of Bethlehem, he was to look upon his sons to discover which one the Lord had chosen to be the next king over Israel. As each son passed before Samuel, he thought that any one of them would have made a fine king, but he was only looking at their outward appearance. It wasn't until David, the smallest and least experienced of Jesse's sons, passed before Samuel that Samuel felt God speak to him and say, "This is the one. This is the one whom I have called, that you will anoint to be the next king over Israel." God recognized before Samuel did, even Jesse, who knew his sons well, God knew even more that the characteristics and qualities of David's heart would prepare him well to be the next king of Israel. In our Sunday Vespers for the last couple of weeks, we have talked about places of the heart, about the importance of minding our hearts, minding them in a way of not just treating them well physically, but emotionally, and that those evil thoughts and intentions that can creep in can very much damage us, damage our hearts, damage our spiritual relationship with God. In fact, can even drive a wedge between us and God. But the heart is also that place where God resides, where God speaks to us, where God's love and compassion, his mercy, his justice, his grace can be within us. And those places where he gives us direction in our lives as we seek to follow him more completely. And so this week, perhaps as we take a moment to inspect our own hearts, may we find that our hearts are like David's heart was, a heart that was after God's own. God, I thank you for these moments to be with your people, to encourage them with the word that you have placed upon me today. I ask that you bless them and love them as completely as you did King David so long ago. Amen. Amen, good people of Westminster Woods, and until next time, peace.